What are you doing to prevent Congress and the executive branch from extending their power outside of Article 1, Section 8?
You know, every single time I see a legislative proposal that I'm going to be asked to vote on, I examine it looking for a few things. But the first thing that I'm looking for is whether or not it's constitutional, whether or not it involves a power that has been properly delegated to Congress. Because, of course, our most important protections in the Constitution, as important as any other feature of the Constitution, are the structural protections. We have the horizontal protection that says that Congress makes the laws, the executive branch enforces the laws, the judicial branch interprets them. Then we have the vertical separation of powers, the vertical protection that says most of the power should remain close to the people at the state and the local level. A few powers should be vested in Congress, in our national government, but they should be few and defined, whereas those reserved to the states should be numerous and indefinite. You're correct to point out that most of the powers Congress has are found in Article 1, Section 8. So every time I review a bill moving through the Senate that I'm being asked to vote for, the first thing I look for is whether or not it's within Congress's duly assigned powers under the Constitution. If it's not, if I can't find a very credible case for its constitutionality, for the fact that this is an appropriate federal power, then I oppose it. You'd be surprised at how often this comes up and how often I have to vote against something for that reason. But this is the only way to do it, is to review each bill on a case-by-case basis. And it's important to remember that this is an issue that is neither Republican or Democratic. It's not necessarily either liberal or conservative. It's simply an American issue. It's a rule of law issue. You know, there are people in many parts of the country that would like to see a single-payer, government-run, government-funded healthcare system. People in Vermont, for example, I'm told would overwhelmingly favor that. They could have that sort of system and adopt it more effectively and more efficiently if they were allowed to do so on a local level, and if it weren't for the fact that there's so much federal intrusion into the area of healthcare. This is one of many examples I can point to of why federalism is politically neutral. It's politically agnostic. Federalism doesn't really care whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, a liberal or a conservative. But it is an American ideal, and it's an ideal that, when followed and implemented properly, will give more Americans access to the kind of government they want and less of the kind of government they don't want. It allows for more localized decision making. So that's why I'm so concerned about this issue and why I work so hard every day to make sure that I don't support legislation that I don't think falls within Congress's carefully enumerated powers under the Constitution.